So TV3Newday, it's time now for the newspaper review. But again, let's look at the headlines for this morning. Ghanaian Times is what we'll start with. And U.S. government pledges 1.3 million Pfizer vaccines to Ghana, according to the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, who met with President Akufo-Addo at the White House yesterday. And remember that the U.S. on Saturday also delivered some 1.2 million doses of Moderna vaccines to Ghana. And according to the Vice President, this is going to also, bond the ties between us and the U.S. And so great news there. Kidnapped pregnant woman saga. Police arrest 3 suspects. We're told that that involves the mother of the lady, her husband, and the pastor as well. And so we're waiting for more details as the police released a statement yesterday indicating that they're investigating further. But there have been a lot of developments since then. The aide of the Western Regional Minister has spoken on some ransom that was paid and a few other details. And so we'll get into that. But you'll find that story on page 13 of the Ghanaian Times. Public reacts to fast-growing population following the 2021 census report. As it stands now, we're 30.8 million in Ghana, according to the provisional results of the census. And so we're waiting for more details on that. We have more women than men, 400,000 more women than men. Now, government to undertake inventory of all state properties, according to the Minister of House, and that's on page 15. Let's move on to the next one. Daily Graphic, and it says the Tano River in the western region, which was heavily polluted, is now regaining its natural state. And it says Galamsey fight yields results in Bia Tano rivers as they're clearing up. You'll find that on page 13. Accra train shuttle bounces back in October, and that's a picture of one of the coaches on a test run. Now, also pharmaceutical sector special supplements, that's inside, and also innovates to address housing challenges. Asenso Boache urges industry players. Court remands man busted with 656 ATM cards. You'll find that on page 20. On to the next one. The Daily Guide, and there's a photo of the Vice President of the United States of America and the President of Ghana, and President says Nana wants AU to be part of G20, and this is a statement that he made as he addressed the UN General Assembly. But he's also met with the Vice President, and he says he wants some more support for the Ghana Armed Forces. And so more details on that on page 3. Tano River recovering, and also Takrady woman not pregnant, suspected self-kidnap, which is what we're hearing. And that's a picture of the 29-year-old woman, Josephine Penyin Mensah, who is in the center of this controversy. Let's move on to the next headline. And so Republic Press, tidal waves wreak havoc in 8 communities, and Brian Champon chairs government building inventory committee. How to be confident in bed when overweight. You'll find that on page 12. New twist in Takrady kidnap saga. Regional minister paid 3,000 Ghana cedis as ransom, according to the aide of the Western Regional Minister, Justice Akwa. I took dining hall post to survive in Presec. That's according to Brian Champon, as he recollects his time during his days in school. UTAG threatened another strike. That would be on page 4. Business and Financial Times. ESLA targets 2.2 billion Ghana cedis in new 12-year bond issuance. Concerns over high lending rates mount pressure on Bank of Ghana ahead of policy rate announcements. Fertilizer troubles to end with availability of new data. We're told that the arrears have been paid now, and so hopefully we'll get back to normal, hopefully. Bilateral trade with India leaps to 26% in a decade. Trade value stands at $4.5 billion US between the two countries. Business 24, make lives better in the communities. FBN Bank tells MD. FBN Bank MD tells Rotary Club. Vodafone, ITU and government collaborate to address global mobile internet access gap. Cocobot eyes productivity increase after record crop. And GEPA Moti also caught youthful investors to cocoa sector. President decries vaccines as tool for immigration control. That was after the announcement by the UK that if you are not vaccinated in the UK, in the US and in Europe with the Oxford AstraZeneca, then you will be considered as non-vaccinated. Later, after a few issues here and there, they decided to recognize the COVID shield, but that also has its own issues attached to it. 3 persons arrested over suspected hoax kidnapping of pregnant woman. That is on The Finder, Accra named as UNESCO World Book Capital for 2023. U.S. government to gift Ghana 1.3 million Pfizer vaccines. It will increase U.S. government's COVID-19 vaccine donation to 2.5 million doses. Acknowledge the role of chiefs in societal development. Pentecost chairman is the one saying that. And La Youth call for government intervention over land dispute. And the custodian kidnapped Takoradi woman was never pregnant, according to the police. 3 persons arrested over Takoradi's suspected hoax kidnapping. Akufo-Addo secures 1.3 million Pfizer jabs from the U.S. and president promotes Africa's interest abroad. And so those are the headlines. Now we'll go over to Takoradi and speak to our correspondent, Eric Yao AJ. We're told that he is visiting the family of the Takoradi woman in the middle of all of this to get some more information. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Bella.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing too?
I'm good. Thank you very much. So a number of developments have come up, and I want to know what the family has said, especially after the more details that this could have actually been a self-kidnap, alleged self-kidnap situation. What have you been able to discover?
We are yet to see a family member since we had the information that apparently the regional minister had paid some 3,000 cedis for to the kidnappers to secure the release of our dear sister Josephine Mensah. So currently we've not been able to speak to the husband and the senior brother like we were doing before that new development came. But all the reactions that we are getting are coming from neighbors around Colombia and New Mexico, where Josephine and the family and including the husband lived.
Okay, but we're told that the husband is one of the people who was arrested by the police, but now we're told that they have been released on bail. Is that true?
That's accurate. That's very accurate. That we're told that 2 days ago he was arrested, but he's since been granted bail. But as I speak to you now, I cannot confirm his whereabouts, nor can I confirm the whereabouts of the senior brother. You know, when Josephine was allegedly kidnapped last Thursday, these were the 2 people that we were speaking to very often. But since this new development came, we've not been able to speak to any of them. But we are hoping that today we'll be able to get hold of either the husband or the brother. Then we'll speak to for their reaction on this particular development that indeed the regional minister sent some 3,000 cedis to the kidnappers.
We've seen some pictures of an agitated crowd in front of the home of Josephine. And, you know, they were protesting the arrest of, you know, Josephine's husband and mother. We're told that the pastor as well was one of the people who was also arrested. Is that true? And what exactly were they saying?
So what we do know is that maybe we can't confirm this, but what we are picking is that the 3 suspects that the police mentioned could be the pastor, the mother, and
the husband,
and Josephine herself, including the husband. But the husband, like I explained earlier, has been granted bail. So these are the 3 people that we suspect that could be the suspects that the police are indicating in their press statements that they have arrested. But for the reasons that we are deducing is that this thing we are hearing is turning out to be a ploy. And we are learning that the pastor is involved, the mother is involved, as well as Josephine and the husband. That is the information that we are picking, but we've not been able to independently verify this claim. So that's why these 3 persons have been picked.
Okay. We'll wait and see if you can get some more details from the family moving forward so we can also apprise our viewers and our audience as well. But thank you so much. You'll be visiting them this morning, I believe.
Yes. I'll be going to the area this morning. When this new information came, you know, earlier the resident had wanted to go on demonstration, but obviously they don't have the permit to do so. But they are very agitated, and they are saying that if given the chance, they will hit the streets to protest these new developments. You know, according to them, some of the people that we've been speaking to in the area, they don't believe this new development because they are saying that, because the regional minister is receiving a lot of backlash, they are suspecting that this new development that he had tried to secure the release of Josephine is just to, calm the waters.
Okay.
That this is the effort that the regional minister also made in trying to secure Josephine, but they are not too encouraged. They don't believe this story that the regional minister had actually paid this 3,000.
Okay.
They think that this is just to, sway the criticisms away from him a bit.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Eric Yaweje is our correspondent from the Western region, and he's giving us an update. Hopefully, he'll get to speak to the family soon so we can get some more details. But joining me in the studios this morning, lawyer Edudi Tamaklo is a member of the legal team and communications team of the NDC. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Oh, Bella, this morning I'm sad.
You're sad?
Yeah.
What's making you sad?
Two things. And if you permit me, one relate to the unwarranted attack on journalists by a member of the Council of State, lawyer Sam Okujeto, relative to the genuine quest by Ghanaians to know why our president has opted for private jets instead of the presidential jet. And obviously, the brouhaha surrounding this kidnapping issue. I'm just imagining, granted, for the sake of argument, that the claim by the police and the regional minister are true. I'm also trying to look at the trauma that the woman is going through. Possibly at this time we need professionals, psychologists, among other things, to intervene. We need to even evaluate the current state of the mental health of the woman.
Well, the Ghana Police Service said that they have provided some psychologists. But even before we continue, let me also introduce my second guest, Ns Yakumi. He's the 2020 MPP parliamentary candidate for Akwetia. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Bella.
My first time meeting you, by the way.
Yes, and I've been on this show other days, but
but not good to meet you.
Good meeting.
Lawyer says he's sad. Are you also sad?
I am not sad.
Okay.
I'm grateful to God for where I've been today. But unfortunately for Council and his team, they've always been sad since President Akufo-Addo took over power in early days of 2017. So I'm not surprised to hear.
Why have they been sad?
Oh, even before President Akufo-Addo's inauguration, you could hear every NDC member or one communicator after the other coming out to say, we're not happy, we think the country is not going, even when he's not started administering the governance of the state. So it is expected that being a member of the opposition party, he will ordinarily be sad at almost every little incident that gets to his attention.
But it's been 5 years. We're in the second term of the president. Do you think that the country is on its right path?
Of course.
It is.
Definitely.
Everything is fine?
Definitely, you cannot say everything. There are one or two things that will fall out of line. There are outliners in every administrative position or policies that you do administer. So obviously, you may have one or two things to complain about, and it is normal. In the end, we look at the proportionality of those incidents to come out with a general statement as to whether things are going well or not. And I think generally and largely, everything is in place and everything is on course.
I see.
So far,
Ghanaians
so
are complaining. I mean, food stuff is high now. Even the people who buy a bag of maize for 200 Ghana cedis are saying that now you have to pay 500 Ghana cedis for one bag of maize. Things are difficult for a lot of people.
Like I said, yes, you have one or two things falling out of place. Indeed. Even if you look at President Mohammed's statement that he made, his reference is to from now to 2022 is a projection that he's speaking about. Now, what has happened to the subsequent years?
I'll let you hold on.
Same?
I'll let you hold on to this conversation.
You don't run into hasty generalization.
We'll get into the agricultural sector soon, but let's just finish with what has just come up with regards to the Takoradi woman and all that she's involved in. So yesterday, the aide to the Western Regional Minister, and this aide is called Justice Akwa, he disclosed that an amount of 3,000 Ghana cedis was released by the Western Regional Minister to the Ghana Police Service, the regional police, to pay a ransom. And he says that in actual fact, the kidnappers or alleged kidnappers had demanded between 500 Ghana cedis. They started for 500 Ghana cedis, ended at 1,000 Ghana cedis, but then the minister released 3,000. So he's not sure how much was requested by the Ghana Police Service for this amount. government, and he says that the minister gave it to the police to give to the kidnappers because he wanted to get to the bottom of the matter, and he wanted the young lady to come back alive. And so that's the latest on this issue. But of course, the police are telling us that per the tests that and the medical examination that the woman was taken through, it has been confirmed by the medical doctors at the Exim Government Hospital that she was not pregnant, she's not lactating, she has not given birth in the last 6 days. And yet, community members are saying that this is a lie because they all saw the woman, they spent time with this woman, and she was indeed pregnant. Lawyer, you were saying that you were sad about this particular situation.
Yes, I think that there's a bigger problem we need to resolve now. The minister's posturing, the rush to the media. I strongly believe that what the minister ought to have done as the chairman of RECSEC was to allow all other institutions to have put all their facts together before rushing to the media. But obviously, I can imagine a situation where the previous notoriety that Takoradi we've associated Takoradi with, the initial kidnapping. So I want to believe that he went in a certain overdrive to try to, as it were, deflate the growing concern relative to insecurity.
Yeah.
And for that matter, to attempt to, as it were, downplay the whole thing with a denial. It does appear that the people who lived with the woman are saying that this is a woman that we have lived with in the locality. We have seen her. Pregnancy is not something that you can easily hide. And for that matter, they have seen it. Now, we were thinking that we will have a more general view. What the people who live with her are saying, what police officers are also saying, what medical doctors are saying. Then the state can now relate with us. You see, there's a certain level of growing distrust among the populace and our law enforcement officers. I say this because, you see, when the Takoradi incident happened, the various responses coming from security agencies never helped until the final day we're just told that, well, they have found the remains in, a pit and all of those, issues. It does not, with respect, endanger a certain, level of trust between the populace and that of law enforcement officers. And that is why I'm saying that one of the things that I expected to have, the first time was this Sunday when I saw pictures of the woman. I felt so bad. You could see a woman who is deeply traumatized. And so I felt that the first thing to do is to try to get her in a proper state, begin to interview her, know her state of mind, what has informed this whole whatever it is. Then we can then conclude on that. Now the police say one thing, the regional minister has said another thing.
Are they not saying the same thing? I mean, what the regional minister said is really what is being corroborated
the police and then the regional minister. And you see, we must always take this. And I've asked this question. The regional minister is the chairman of RECSEC. Now, he came out even before the police. Were we, in clear terms, expecting the police to give a statement that contradicts the chair of RECSEC?
What are you insinuating?
No, I'm just simply saying that it was important for proper chain of events for the minister to have allowed proper briefing from the police before communicating to the public. That would have resolved all these distrust. Regrettably, that is where we are. It's unfortunate. My prayer is that the claim made by the police is what it is. If anything else, the public trust in our police and law enforcement officers will be greatly damaged. I just pray that the state of affairs remains the way it is.
But I mean, a few people are also celebrating, or at least appreciative of the updates of the police service with regards to this matter, and the fact that there's a new IGP that a lot of people have trust in, and they believe that for someone like him, he will be able to handle this matter to the end.
Even when the first kidnapping issue happened, you recall the famous press conference by Mamitiwa. It was so assuring. So it is not I would not, at this circumstance, want to personalize the issue. The police have always, dealt with the public by way of press releases, press conferences, and others. My point had to do with the consistency of the message, the accuracy of the message. That is the only way that you can get a certain level of public confidence. I hope the state of affairs remains.
The police have said that, even after this medical examination, they are ready to go for a second opinion.
No, but you see,
if you have concluded, just to prove.
No, if you have concluded the matter, what second opinion? So either you were too quick or you rushed in addressing the public on this vast issue, or you are beginning to establish a certain loophole even in your initial communication to the public. If these matters are so established, like I indicated, the public confidence in information coming from our law enforcement agencies will be greatly hampered. And that is why I would have expected a more measured approach in resolving this matter. Ernest,
let me bring you in here because, again, the aide to the Western Regional Minister explained why the minister came out that early, because he said that he had to deflate the anguish in the community with regards to the issue of kidnapping, because, again, people were beginning to get scared, they won't come out, they were worried about their fate. And so he had to say something. And in this case, when he had been apprised by the security, and he being the chairman of RECSEC, he had to come out and say something. But a number of people have castigated him and his actions and said that you could have waited at least for the police to do their preliminary investigations and come out with a statement. So this sort of looks like the police hands are tied and they are forced to put out a statement that tallies with what the Western Regional Minister had said.
All right, let's say good morning to our listeners and viewers once again. But then I don't really think that as to whether the minister came out to speak too early is something that I'm not quite sure about. One, being the head of RECSEC, the regional minister is not just in charge of the police, he's equally in charge of other security agencies as well. And therefore, where he sits, he has access to varieties of information from the police, from the, is it BNI? Which
NIB now,
NIB now. Yeah, so he has a lot of access to information. As to whether he's been properly briefed, I am very certain that he's been properly briefed, because if you look at the information coming out currently, there is no inconsistency and incoherency in what he's putting out. Everything he's put out there is consistent with the police report. And it is not true that whatever he said is compelling the police to put out something different. Now, even if you want to look at or the agitation of the community or people living around, I would say it does not even warrant such an attitude. Because when it comes to crime and criminal incident, you cannot determine or just depend on the aesthetics or the physical views to conclude on crime. As to whether you see someone to be physically pregnant, it does not even warrant, or it does not determine whether indeed it's an actual pregnancy or whether indeed the person has lost the pregnancy earlier on and is trying to use some of these incidents to cover up. The regional minister, based on information, look, mind you, when these things happen, the police do not come out with the very finest details of the incident. They give us the summary of it. So if the police come out with a report, and it's not just any oral report, they are telling us these are scientific reports. And from science, we can tell whether a woman has just delivered, whether a woman has been pregnant for for the past months or for the past couple of days. These are things that medicine can determine.
Yeah.
So when the police come out today and they tell us that from the medical report, the woman is not pregnant, it's something that I don't think the police is basically putting out just to confirm the statement.
But can we believe the police, looking at what has happened, again with the missing Takoradi girls? Madam Tiwa told us that the girls, we knew where they were safe. It later turned out that we had no idea where the girls were. We later found their body parts.
And he said they were building confidence. Remember.
Counsel, you see, we have every reason to believe the police. Now, no two incidents or no two crimes are the same. So we cannot literally sit on TV and compare the two incidents. Even if you want to do that, let me tell you, there's been a similar incident that has happened in Ghana. You remember the Amina Yutombas incident. this issue came out, all of us went on the same trajectory as we're doing today. Later, it came out that the whole story was a cook story, and it didn't actually happen as we heard it. The similar thing is happening in Takoradi today. The regional minister and the police are giving us a lead or a clue as to what is happening. And we sit in the public space and want to create an impression that they being the professional body, because counsel here made a statement that he would have sought for a more professional view of this issue than what is coming out. What could be more professional than the regional minister?
Maybe an independent one, which is what the family is insisting on.
No.
Independence, because now they say they can't trust, because they know that their family member was pregnant.
That is what he alluded to earlier on. There seems to be a growing distrust for the public and for public agencies or security agencies. We need not to get there. Why are we advocating?
But whose fault is it that we got there?
No.
How did we get here?
All that we're saying is also contributing to it, because they are the professionally mandated body to do this. And we are suggesting to people that there should be an independent body from
But the family is asking for an independent medical examination because they know that their family was so. Exactly.
But the police has also every right to go ahead with their own investigation as well. Council can confirm that. You understand? So if the police has their own report telling them or confirming as to what to do, you cannot say that they should stop their own process to allow for their family. They cannot equally go ahead to do their independent examination. Now, there's what we call intelligence cycle analysis. If you listen to whatever that the police is putting out, and I have heard, or I have watched a video from your outfit, TV3, interviewing the mother of the pregnant woman.
Yes.
Yes. And she was asked about even the antenatal card. Her explanation alone, if you put all these things into the intelligence cycle and you analyze them, it points to one direction. So I do not see any inconsistency on the part of the police nor the regional minister as being suggested. But rather, there seems to be politics being drawn into the matter, or there seems to be a conjecture that we are in an insecure state, and therefore the political establishment must necessarily be blamed for that.
All this could have been avoided if the minister did not speak ahead of the police.
There is
I understand that you're saying that he is the chairman.
There is nothing to be avoided. Being the head of Rexstate, he has the responsibility to come out on such issues. And we live in a state that if he does not come out early with the specific issues, we will end up admitting that whatever that has been put out there is the absolute truth, which may not be.
Is it about coming out early or coming out at the right time?
Coming out at the right time, that's exactly what it is.
And that was the right time?
For me, yes. That's why I'm saying that as to what amounts to early is not something that you and I can determine. You understand? So it is your judgment, it is his view, it is my view. But I think that the timing with which he came out, even if you look at the timing or the time frame of the entire incident, I mean, you cannot say he came out too early. Because it's been one issue upon the other. The first time they reported the incident, how many days did it take the police to identify where they are, to the rescue of the woman, and where are we now? So when you do that analysis, you can tell whether indeed it was too early or is within an admittable time frame.
I mean, we're told as well that as part of the investigations, and even during the time when the police was interacting with the alleged kidnappers, there was a phone that was being used, and that phone, they're finding out, is registered in the name of the woman. And so we're not even sure how all this information is coming out at the moment, because they're saying that it's registered in the name of the woman. The woman will turn it on intermittently and communicates with her mother, allegedly, and turn it back off. And so all these details are before the police. We're
Bella,
waiting to see.
But
these are allegations. No, I'm not confirming. I'm just saying that these are allegations that are being put out.
In there that the police
these are allegations.
Yes.
You see, that is why I am saying that there is a channel by which you communicate security matters. Yeah, we have principal law enforcement officers in this country. Here, the Ghana Police, the NIB, and they are all over the country. Now, if their preliminary assessment of events as at that time was to suggest that the woman was in fact not kidnapped, they have every reason as the regional police command to communicate to the public. Now, where the politician here, the regional minister, goes ahead of them and communicates in a manner, it now suggests that all other things must be worked to fit a particular narrative. That is why we are saying that this is not the first time we got into this situation. We've had a situation again with the Takoradi kidnapping incident, where a senior police officer communicated in a manner it turned out not to be the case. When people have, invested, assured everything, then it turned out not to be the case. It raises issues. I am basically saying is that, look, we should be slow in communicating this and allow the professionals here, maybe the police, to have done the communication before the regional minister steps in.
Okay. Land on this for me so we move on.
This issue has been out there. Everybody is speaking to it. Are you saying that as the political head of the region, he was not expected to comment? He was not expected to give a clue as to what is happening?
But his comment is what has brought about the confusion now.
There's no confusion anywhere.
There's no confusion?
I don't think so.
You don't see how the community members are reacting to this?
Reacting, that's what I'm saying. Their reaction is unwarranted.
No, but
because their reaction is based on the fact that they think they have physically seen the woman to be pregnant.
They think or they know.
That's what they think.
Because there are people who say they saw it.
If medically, if it is proven that she wasn't pregnant, then that it is a figment of their imagination. Because you can't actually tell that a person is pregnant because you physically see a protruding stomach. No. That is not how you determine a person is pregnant. And if we are expecting that the police will do a professional work, or the police will come out with a conclusion that meets our minds, then we are expected to understand and appreciate every little information the police is giving us, contrary to what we think we see around us.
Okay.
Now, there's this seeming conjecture that, the police is just trying to lie to make up the story and also to push back the pressure. Just for what? Why would the police do that? What is their interest in this matter? The police has basically no interest in this matter. Even the political establishment do not have any interest in this matter.
At all?
Not at all.
Could it be that, again,
what would the political establishment
with the
achieve?
issue of insecurity in the country, and especially with what happened in Takoradi?
There is no issue of insecurity in the country. Please,
there's no insecurity in the country?
No, not at all.
There's no insecurity in Ghana?
Not at all.
We had a situation where there was a banner headline. Takoradi girls rescued. Then hold on. The reason why your focus
hold on. Let him land. I'll let you respond to this.
All that I'm simply saying, Ernest, is that look, we want a secured, safe community for all of us.
Exactly.
It is good for us.
Yeah.
We trust our security officials to do that work. Anytime there are some of these mishaps, we expect that they communicate to us, having regards to the full facts. Nothing more, nothing. You see, Bella raised a very important issue, that it is being alleged that even the phone the lady was using, today in this country, our security agencies are able to go to the courts for ex parte application for orders for disclosures. What you need to do is that you know this number, you go to the court, you come to the telcos, you have done all this investigation, even established that the lady was communicating when she claimed that she had been kidnapped. You put all of these things together, then you communicate to the public. It puts the matter to rest. That is what you do.
But not come out in the beginning. Respond to this and then we'll move on, please.
Let us be very clear in our minds that there's no way the police will come out with the finest details of any incident.
Really?
Yes, they only give us the summary. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen in any jurisdiction.
Okay.
So don't expect that the police will come out and tell us that we've been to the court with ex parte motion. And
not all those details.
Exactly.
But he's saying that they should have done all that before coming out to speak, so that at least it will put to rest the matter to some extent.
Even in the U.S. and everywhere, when an incident happens, there's consistent communication to the public. So at this stage, you cannot fault the police for that's far they've come.
Okay.
You understand? As we go ahead, no. Council, just hold on.
Okay, hold on.
I don't think there's any rush anywhere.
Okay.
You understand? There's no rush.
And you are saying there's no insecurity in the country?
Not at all.
Okay. With the number of, murder cases, armed robbery cases and all of that?
Definitely you record crime incidents in every state. You understand?
Okay.
But it is the proportionality that determines whether the state is insecure.
What numbers are we looking at to be worried?
Dependent on your population.
Okay.
Exactly. So you cannot just sit on TV and say, because we recorded 1 or 2 incidents. Ghana
is it one or two this year alone?
Of
is
course.
It one
then
or
how
two?
Would you call
the number of policemen that have been attacked?
How would you call America?
The number of policemen.
Because in America there are sporadic shootings. They're shooting.
Are we going to now start comparing to other
places? Yes, that's what I'm saying. That you don't just rush in saying Ghana is insecure because of few incidents that you've heard of. Crime do happen everywhere across the world, but it is the proportion that determines whether the state is insecure or not.
Okay.
So we cannot, at this time, let us compare successive years.
Okay.
What has been the crime rate and what it is now. Has there been an exponential increment in our crime rate? Then you can make that assertion you're making right now. But if not, then you cannot say Ghana is insecure.
I just watched an amateur video of a robbery incident at Apenkwa, Achimota, broad daylight. These things don't encourage. It does not endanger public confidence. So the suggestion that there may not be insecurity because we are looking at proportionality may not be the way to communicate what is currently happening. There may be efforts on the part of government and the security agencies to resolve these issues of insecurity. But to suggest that there is none may not be accurate, really,
I'm not sure we
to
are
what is
suggesting
happening.
that there is no crime.
Well, I'm going to read something to you here. So this is, it says that violent crimes went up from 183 in 2020 to 220 from January to June 2021. And that represents a 20% increase, according to the Ghana Public Safety and Crime Report compiled by the Bureau of Public Safety. And armed robbery was part of the top 5 most reported crimes, gone up by 20%. That is a huge margin.
If you go to...
Ernest, we are speaking to the data.
Yeah, I'm speaking to the data. You see, I called for the data, and I'm saying that when you go to this data, or when you go to the police page, they will tell you that crimes are being reported now compared to the past. Because previously, the means of collecting the data was not proper compared to now.
That cannot be accurate. Because any robbery...
Why is that? No, you want us to speak to the data. Now
you let him land.
And you're having impatient. No. I give you the opportunity to speak.
Then you respond,
then you can come in
carry
there.
on.
So you understand, there is more enhanced means of collecting data now. Now, even on social media, people put out incidents that gets to the attention of the police. So what the police is saying is that even now, there is a more proper way of assessing crime incidents than previously. Now, people are also advised to report more incidents compared to previous years. But what I'm saying is that when you compare the full year of crime incidents, vis-a-vis 2019, 2018, go back into previous years, you will not have an exponential increment in the crime incidents. And therefore, you cannot sit on TV and say we are in it.
But if these crimes are being, identified by the police-owned surveillance cameras, then how do you say that more people are reporting now? If it's the police that's put in place measures to...
It's not just the ones that they are picking on surveillance, but also incidents that people report, rape and other incidents that they do report at the police station are more enhanced now compared to previous years. In previous years, people admit these things within their own community, and they find it difficult even going to the police.
But is it not more worrying that even now that the police have mounted cameras all over the place, it's when we're recording a lot more incidents? So that means that those cameras are not even deterring these armed robbers and other people who are perpetrating crime.
Oh, but I'm not sure cameras are to deter people.
No, but
it does.
But if you're aware that there's a camera where I'm going to perpetrate crime,
it is a preventive measure. But I'm saying that as to the whatever criminals are up to, that wouldn't deter them from doing that. In the end, it is also to help the police identify the perpetrators of the crime. You understand? So if the police are able to make use of the tool in identifying such persons, it means the system is working.
Let me bring counsel in to respond to this quickly, and then
just quickly on the issue of data. And I've always believed in the data. And from the numbers, we are basically seeing almost 20%, increase in such violent crime. It should be a matter that should concern all of us, regardless of whether in the past crime reporting was accurate or not. It's neither here nor there. And the point is that the police have always had the mechanism for crime reporting. And they can give you as early as 1996 what were the number of robberies. That record, that data is there.
But hold on, you didn't want him to interject when you were speaking, so you just hold on, let him land. Let him land.
At this time, Ernest, for me, let our security agencies get back to work and get all of us safe. This is not a matter for debate. So let's end.
That we agree, but you cannot say Ghana is insecure.
Okay, anyway, so Nanaya says we can't go for walks or jogging in peace anymore. The president says we are safe. Our children are no longer safe out there for fear of being kidnapped or murdered. The president says we are safe. Broad daylight robberies everywhere, and the president says we are safe. Good morning. Let's move on now to the agric sector and talk about what the agric minister actually has been saying concerning, the concerns by the Peasant Farmers Association, the General Agric Workers Union, that we're likely to face food shortage in 2022. In fact, even before that, former President John Dramani Mahama on his thank you tour had indicated that we're likely to face food shortage, and he even cited his brother as an example. So his brother is a farmer who usually would plant on 300 acres of land. Unfortunately, he says due to lack of fertilizer, he can only plant for just about 80 acres. And so this is very worrying, and that is why we should be concerned. The minister had earlier responded to the president's claim and said that they were unfounded. Now he's actually responding again, and he accuses the former president and his brother of being unethical and peddling falsehood, because he said your brother does not qualify for the subsidized fertilizer program. It's only for people or farmers who own about 2-3 acres of land. And so why was he even going for fertilizer, subsidized fertilizer, in the first place? Lawyer, I'll come to you to respond to this.
I think that this, our Minister of Agric, from the time he developed this ambition of becoming president, he's basically developed he's basically in a state of denial. He denies almost everything. Look, Bella, the last time I indicated on this platform that if you do propaganda with agric, food prices will expose you. Today, let everyone, whether NDC or MPP, because when you go to our markets to buy food, they do not demand party cards. What the price of a bag of maize, they will not say because you are NDC, they will sell it differently for you. So the scorecard of how he has mismanaged Ghana's agric is out there. To the extent that today, we are having to ban importation of food items. Why? When we were growing up in GSS, those were some of the answers we used to, the questions we answered, what we used to do with our agric. And then we export some of them. Today we are banning it because if we do not do that, we stand the risk of having food insecurity, food shortage in this country. And our minister, instead of facing the reality, he's all over the place. Look, speak to our farmers. And look, you have spoken to professional groups before. The peasant farmers, Anthony Morrison and co.
He's questioning their legitimacy.
Can you imagine this? These are independent groups. They are interacting with farmers. They are giving you a feedback. What do? Accept the feedback and work on it. The question whether or not Mohammed's brother or whoever is neither here nor there. The critical thing is that today, are Ghanaian farmers able to get fertilizer? I heard the minister the other day saying that they are now going to establish a fertilizer in this country that would ensure that there will be increased fertilizer for our Ghanaian farmers. You are now going to, when people are suffering. Today,
but is that not progress at least? Now we recognize there's a challenge.
But my point is that
and we're fixing that challenge.
We are even beginning to applaud ideas, not reality. 2, the nexus between maize and poultry farming is there. Today, for the first time, after many years, after a decade, egg is going for 1.5 Ghana cedis. It has never happened. That is the minister's scorecard. That is the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration scorecard when it comes to agric. But and we cannot run away from this reality.
Is he not right if he says that you understand that the program is for farmers who till only 2 to 3 acres. You till about 300 acres. What is your business going in for fertilizer that's subsidized for these poor farmers? And then he says that former president cannot use one instance to generalize and say that this is the situation across the country.
You move from 2 acres to 300 acres. You don't start from 300 to 2. It is gradual. Now, the issue that, you are not even due for fertilizer and therefore you have peddled on truth, is neither here nor there. And I make this point because, you see, call Ghanaian farmers, peasant farmers. You spoke to Charles Nyaba. Charles Nyaba was my mate at the graduate first degree before he went to do his PhD. He's a consummate professional. When we decided to go and do law, he said he would be with the farmers. And he's built over 13 years experience with peasant farmers. And when he speaks, you take it in good faith and work towards it. Today, if the price of food items are increasing because we claim that we are having single-digit inflation, then you can see the deception. That is why I'm saying that this whole administration is about PR. You PR even your failures and deceive Ghanaians. That deception cannot fill your stomach.
You still haven't answered my question. What was his business going for these?
No, the issue is not about his business. The reality is that, as I speak to you, ask peasant farmers whether or not they have fertilizer in the quantity they want.
They say they don't. They say they don't, which is why we have shortage. And the minister, and I'll come to you, Ernest, because the minister says that, I mean, they have extension officers, over 4,000 of them, who are dealing with the farmers on a daily basis, and they're interacting with them. How then does a group calling itself maybe Peasant Farmers Association, General Workers Agric Union, come out with very few people on their team? We've not had farmers, over 3 million farmers in the country, even vote for reps for these specific groups. And so on what basis, scientific basis, are they coming out to say that there's going to be drought and there's going to be shortage of food in 2022?
So why the ban?
When they are dealing directly with the farmers.
No, but why the ban?
Well,
no, Bella, why the ban?
Let me allow Ernest
but you
to
see,
speak.
Bella, you should help me. If you are claiming that...
I'm asking questions here.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that if your claim is that... No, I'm not. If you are claiming that the conversation is not representative of Ghanaian farmers. Meanwhile, from the policy directive, you have banned importation. Reconcile the two. You are banning because you know that the numbers, the supply, is problematic.
Okay. Ernest, hold on. We'll just read some messages with Johnny and then we'll carry on.
So, Bella, I heard you talk about the fact that we're going to start setting up a fertilizer factory. Is that correct? I'm reading off my phone now, presidency.gov.gh. This is something that was published on the 16th of August, 2019. It says, Vice President Bawumia commissions Ghana's largest fertilizer plant under 1D1F. The lead says, the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on Thursday, 15th August 2019, commissioned Ghana's largest fertilizer factory at Isuboy in the Ayenswano district of the Eastern region, with a production capacity of over 800,000 metric tons per year. The Glofet Fertilizer Factory, a wholly owned Ghanaian company built under the One District, One Factory initiative of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government, is the first fertilizer production plant outside the Tema Industrial Enclave and produces all kinds of fertilizer, notably urea, ammonium sulfate, as well as NPK, which are widely used by farmers in Ghana and across the continent of Africa. Ghana has an annual fertilizer requirement of 600,000 metric tons, according to officials of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. So this had already been done. That's according to the presidential website. So why are we now going to do it again? I'm just asking, what happened to this Glofet factory?
Exactly, then, because we should have been producing fertilizer by now.
No, I'm saying that it says here on the presidential, allow me, it says on the presidential website, this is from the Communications Bureau, it says that we have a requirement of 600,000 metric tons. The factory is producing 800,000 metric tons per year. This was in 2019, so 2019, 2020, 2021. Now, if we're producing 800 by 3, that's 2,400, okay, or 24,000. Why are we going to now do it again? That's the question I'm asking.
The Greek minister said.
You get a chance to answer. Let me finish reading this. Good morning, Bella. I suggest live medical examination, so you still believe the woman, but you don't believe the police and the medical doctors after examinations and investigations prove that her pregnancy was fake with perpetrators arrested. No wonder fake pastors and fake malams continues to get rich out of dumb minds. No critical thinkers. Let's fix our brains. Just let the husband or family provide her antenatal card if they are saying she is indeed pregnant. Simple like that. Why wait until you are disgraced first and the whole country gets to know how fake you are before you think of providing your antenatal card? Well, we'll continue later. Hi, Bella. Why do you and the NDC always want the farmer to be poor? Your salary periodically goes up, but your people don't want the farmer to increase his produce. Why? It's not us.
Who is the you?
Well, the Agric Census says that about 80% of you are still using cutlass and hoe, and there are too many old people. Most of you are not elected and you are not applying new technology. Walanyo in Akwitia says, where's the alleged kidnapped pregnancy woman's antenatal card or other medical documents as the evidence? We have people ridiculously supporting this evil story, forgetting to see some women dressing up for months as pregnant women and eventually stealing babies. Account from the family is quietly not adding up to ascertain the fact. As of now, the woman and her husband haven't been able to provide a single document to the public that shows the woman was pregnant, and we are pampering this couple together with their families, causing unnecessary fear and panic to the public. My goodness. NSCR committee says, regards to you, says your political figure chairman, Kisi them. All these fairy tales, I should say, of kidnapping in an attempt to steal a baby which has gone bad. The supposed woman may have been going to the hospital at the time with a grand arrangement with the nurse to steal a baby. The ransom the supposed kidnappers were demanding was to pay for a baby theft. The scheme, however, went bad, hence attributed to kidnapping. The husband, mother, and her sister are all in the know of such a scheme. When you trace events as it unfolds, you will notice all are disjointed. They have to investigate the lady's first child if it's for them. That is a sensitive case that the regional minister cannot come and fabricate stories. The minister spoke based on information from the police as well as from the doctors who checked her if she had been pregnant. The minister has every right to come in as the head of the RESEC. Joe from Takrady. Prince Henry Koforia says, good morning, Bella. The Western Regional Minister shouldn't have made any comments on the Takrady missing pregnant woman. If the minister hadn't spoken, Ghanaians would have taken the police release as sacrosanct. But now it seems there is some politics in the case. #NewDay. On whose authority did the Western Regional Minister make the payment to the kidnappers of the Takrady missing pregnant woman? #NewDay. And Bella, the question on my mind is that the police statement said that the woman went to the hospital in October.
October, yes.
Her family had said that she went there in September. Now, it takes 9 months gestation period for a woman to get pregnant and deliver. Now, if the police says at the period under review in October, she was not pregnant, well, she couldn't have gone to the hospital when she wasn't pregnant.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just asking a wild question. Now, her family said that she was 9 months pregnant.
As at September?
As of September. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 9 months. So the 3 months from October.
September 2020 or?
2020.
No, I think they...
longer.
Yes. So that's
delivered longer.
So that's why I'm asking that from October, November, December. Maybe the police can give us clarity. And then also, the police should be able to give us some clarity because they say there's been a trend of people faking their kidnap. Yeah. Maybe the police can help us with a list of people who have faked their kidnap. Because the only person I remember is Princess Ada, who was a radio presenter. You remember that?
I remember
who
that.
Had recorded that she got kidnapped, gang raped, and all of that.
Anyway.
So good morning to you, IGP Dampari.
You had to say that good morning, huh? Anyway, and let's come in and respond to this issue because, again, just recently, we had the head of results delivery at the office of the president, Anasewa Mwako, speak on the issue of fertilizer and the fact that we're going to start producing fertilizer. No, so there was a long-term and a short-term...
They are not manufactured.
Long-term and short-term plan for this particular issue, as against what Johnny had earlier read, that we had actually launched a fertilizer plan sometime in 2019.
One, Bella, I'm not sure the Agric Minister is running away from the issues at hand. Today, in your display of the newspapers, I saw one of the captions that now that the data is available, there will be more fertilizers. You understand?
Yeah.
That goes to speak to the issue that even as we speak now, and we all know the state of data in this country, that there's not been proper data in terms of things or happenings in this country. Therefore, it may be difficult in terms of projection, estimation, and budgetary programming for such agricultural program. Secondly, if you want to plot the growth of agriculture in this country, I'm not sure it is always going to be a straight line growth projection. It is always going to go like this, and there will certainly be a dip. So when there is a dip in the program, you do not call the program a failure. We must admit that. That was what I was alluding to in my earlier submission. That in previous years, we've seen growth in terms of agric. We've seen sustainable food growth in this country. We've come to a point where poultry farmers were no longer importing maize into this country.
And now they can barely get the maize.
I'm going there. I'm coming there. That's why I'm saying that in terms of the growth of the agric program, if there is a dip, you don't call it a failure. But you must admit that indeed in the past, there's been a growth. We moved from somewhere and we've gotten to where we are now.
But how do you describe it when the Chamber of Agric says that back in October we conducted a study and we realized that we were going to face a food shortage, and so we advised government to stop even the exportation of these produce to neighboring countries so that we can store enough to avert this? Nobody listened, and then months down the line, the Agric Ministry now announces that we're halting the exportation of produce to these countries, when we could have managed this situation earlier and even better.
So first of all, we are looking at two incidents here. We are looking at the production and we are looking at the exportation issue. The issue of exportation is, yes.
But why did they ask for the ban on exportation? Because there were no fertilizers and so we could not produce.
Hold on. You see, when you
That's what they said.
If you've asked one question, we need to go into it for our viewers to understand.
No, it's because you brought that angle. So I'm telling you that the reason why they asked for the ban on exportation is because there was no fertilizer. Carry on, by the way.
You see, your initial comments were that there was a projection that there's going to be food shortage and therefore exportation should be prevented. If the Agric Minister, let's assume that he reneged on that responsibility or duty and therefore did not ban the exportation, it does not amount to the fact that there's been production in this country. Now, as we speak now, according to the World Food Program, there's going to be 132 million people are likely to face extreme starvation from this year going. So what it means is that no matter the production that we do in every country or even in Ghana, there's going to be a demand, a serious demand even across the world. So whatever we are producing here, you should know that which other countries that depend on that for such product, there's also a higher demand coming from those places. Now, it is our internal policy to put in place measures to make sure that there's food security. That's why the minister is saying that the lack of stock does not necessarily translate into food shortage.
Okay.
You understand? And we have to get that very clear. Instead of we throwing out this issue that we are in a food insecurity as a result that there's a failure of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. No. That's what that is saying.
Okay.
So no. Pastor, now I won't allow for this. I won't allow. No.
Hold on. Please, let him land.
If he doesn't listen, first of all, he won't admit that now that there's a proper data, there's going to be a proper means of ascertaining in terms of the quantum of fertilizer that we need to sustain our farmers. The question that she posed to you, which required a response, which you failed to do so, was how Ibrahim Mahama, in such a commercial farming state, will go in for something that is meant for smallholder.
But there are officers, there are also Agric officers who should have also ensured that he does not receive
all those things have diverse
Why did they also not do their job? The extension officers or the Agric officers in the offices, they should have also done their job, so that if someone like that comes in for fertilizer, you don't give him.
Even if they fail, a senior statesman like Ibrahim Mahama should do the right thing.
Otherwise, I'll be taken off air.
It happens to be the birthday.